Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters out here in this world. Shalom, Israel. All glory given to the Most High Yah, for he is the only one who is worthy. Blessed be his strength. Blessed be his might. Blessed be his will. Blessed be his glory. Blessed be his forgiving spirit and all of his love, for he is a great God, for he is the only God. Blessed be Jehovah's name and Yahshua HaMashiach name, for he is worthy. Now, family, today here in the house that God has made, God has charged me once more again to go over things that he will do to his enemy in war. A group of people, an individual, a nation that would go against him and what he stands for be it being his laws, his statutes, his commandments, his limitations. So in this family, all I have to do is sit here and tell the people of America what God would do to anybody on the face of this earth. It does not matter that we live in the new millennia of 2020. That doesn't matter. Whatever God did to people 10,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago, 150 years ago, 1,500 years ago, he will still do to current populations here in 2020. So God told me to tell America how, not so much of why, but how he will disable, eliminate one of his enemies. So it's been racking my brain, and I have some pre-recorded messages that I would like you to listen to. So I would like you to take your time and listen. For all these things he will do to anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's a whole nation. It could be an individual. It could be a group of people. That the group of people could only be 100 people. It doesn't matter. It can be a whole vast territory. It could be a whole nation, or it can be just individual groups of people. There is no body that is on this earth that is exempt of God carrying forth these actions of his judgment. Just because it is 2020 does not mean the nations that you see before you have any more power or any more strength over the great Yah, the Lord of all creations, the Alpha and the Omega, he that is in the beginning and he that resides in the end, he that stands alone, that there is no one that he has to answer to, no one that can question him, for he has all power. All glory be given to God. Throw your hands up, for I come to bring you the truth. And if I've come to give you this truth in this day, that means the kingdom of God was near. Now, we're going to go over these things, and I would like my brothers and sisters, for this is a warning to America. For your father, he asked me to warn America. Tell the people of the country of your captivity the things that are happening, since they can't see it, since they don't believe in my strength, they don't believe in my power, they don't believe the things that I will do to topple, to conquer a nation. Your father asked me to go over these things to make them aware, for your eyes to see in your land of your captivity in the last days in which you live. And my brothers and sisters, when I say those things, I don't say them to fear you. I say them to awaken your spirit to the truth that is before you in the land of your captivity. That only means the end of an era, the end of everything that you know, and the beginning of a new. So some of my brothers and my sisters, they look down on a time and when God would tell them that is the end. They would look sad and they would look like it would be a heavy burden. But if you're living your life right, I will say to you again, you have a direct covenant with God. He has promised to do things to so-called African American people that he won't do to any other group. We're not bringing the covenant of Yeshua. You call him Jesus Christ. That covenant was for all men. All men are on that. They have a chance to get into Zion if they are willing to obey and to submit to the great High Yah, Jehovah, the Lord of hosts, the God of all creations. If they're willing to submit themselves and be obedient, then they can get in. That's the covenant that mankind, but the covenant that the house of Israel have is completely different. And your father says several times in his word, black man, black woman, I'm going to chastise you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to set you on fire. I'm going to strangle you. I'm going to put your head under the water if you don't obey me, if you don't serve me, if you don't worship me, if you don't honor me, if you don't praise me in your life and teach your little ones to look up to me. I'm going to continue to do the things that I have done to you thus far. That is the direct covenant that black people, so-called black people, have with the Most High Yah. There is no other group of people that live on the face of this earth that God has promised to lay his hands on them in such a dramatic way, such a torturous way. Misery, pain, suffering, agony, his hand of wrath on his chosen people, his people, so-called black people who live in North America and that are scattered in the four corners of this earth, the house of Israel. Now, your father told me to go over these things this morning. And, he told me, family, he said, I don't want you to so much go into the word and bring it out. I want you to go by remembrance of everything that you have seen me do to a person, an individual, a group, a nationhood, a country, a kingdom, what I will do to them. For he doesn't change, family. He doesn't change at all. The things, the methods of the instruments of his death that he used to destroy people, taking their feet more closer to the pit, dropping them off in the shadow of death where destruction looms before their very face. So I would like my brothers and sisters to listen, but I hope that the people of America are listening. White people in this country, I hope that they are listening and taking heed, for there is only one God. You can look at me and look at my character and you could laugh and you could be all like, well, that's just a black man and he's just talking. But I am a holy man of a nation of priesthood. And I'm warning you, I'm telling you what he told me to tell you. So you could take me for a game. You could take me for a joke. It is completely up to you. Now, the reason why you see the walls of Jericho in the background is because God, how did I write it? He will have his enemies think about things that will not happen or help them. And what they need to worry about is the last thing that's on their mind and will completely disable them. It is true, family. Like right now, your country, they worrying about strengthening this military. Strengthening the military and pouring billions of dollars into an army that nobody will fight like that. That's a waste of time. God will make your enemy, his enemy, think about things that will not help them. Could you imagine that as you look at your life and you think about the things that you have prepared for never happen? The same thing with your enemies, family. He will have your enemies. Your enemy is up. America is up over here thinking about spending billions and trillions of dollars to put on a wall. That's the least of her problems. To be honest with you, and you be like, well, Jehoshaphat, I don't know, the immigrants, and people, they be sneaking across the border, and we got to protect, we got to build up our walls, Jehoshaphat. We got to build up our walls to keep people out. That's the least of America's problems. You must understand how the great God of heaven, how he operates. He will make your enemy think about things that will never happen. Family will never happen, will never come to pass, will never be the thorn inside of the lion's heel. Will never come to pass like that, family. But the things that they need to be worrying about, they're not worrying about. They're over here thinking about things that will never happen. This is how God uses his methods of his instruments of war and destruction to annihilate a people, to desecrate a people. He does that. Okay, I used Jericho in the background, but before those walls came crashing down, family, the people of Jericho, they thought that that would never happen. And they thought that your people, the Israel, the ancient Israelites, was out marching around, making jokes and making games of them back at the walls of Jericho, family. So this is one of his methods. And your brother, I want to just make sure I go through all of them to make sure completely that the whole gamma of the things that he does to a group of people, that it was covered here in the house that God has made, to make sure that I do a good job, family. You know, I'm just trying to do the best that I can for the Most High Yah. And other people would look at this and they wouldn't take it serious, or they would think that it's a game. But God, he doesn't change, family. He's not going to change for me. He's not going to change for you. He's not going to change for nobody. Okay, give me one quick second before I get into these pre-recordeds, because I already did it, family. I just have to cut it up a little bit more of things that I didn't like to make sure that I go over every single thing. Now, could you imagine that God would use a small group that have no power? What do you mean, Jehoshaphat? What do you mean, Jehoshaphat? Brother, sister, what city do you live in? Picture a small town that the city is only like maybe 300 people. So you see this little small town farm city, and it's only 300 of the overall population. God will take them 300 people and go over to a city where it's 300,000 people. That's 3 million people. And you'd be like, whoa, Jehoshaphat, that is impossible. Your God does the impossible. He has all power. He has all strength. He has intelligence. To be very simple with you, family, I don't even understand why people wouldn't even think that God would even be a master computer. They just don't believe in God like that, family. They're not even smart enough to think in their head, well, man, the master of the universe, he has to be smart as the most complex machinery, and he is not, because there is no comparisons to God. There is nothing that you can comparison to. And these people, they wouldn't even in their head, family, they got all this technology and all these computers and all of this stuff, family, all these they trying to make quantum computers up over here, and they wouldn't even fathom in the back of their mind that God could be a master computer that knows all things, that have all power, that put this whole universe in existence. They wouldn't even think that, family. They would think that he doesn't even exist. So I'm not even talking to them. They wouldn't even concept his power to believe that he could take just that. Okay. How many in the NBA, how many basketball teams is it state to state? How many is it, family? He can take 2 or 3 of those basketball groups, and if you put them all on one gigantic court, family, those 3 teams against the whole league, they would decimate. You call them the all-stars. They would decimate all them other people on that damn basketball court, family. That damn simple, family. You wouldn't even be able to imagine it. That small group city, that little village, family, 300 people walking over to the big city where you live at. Where you live at? Atlanta? Where you live at? You live in Houston? Where you live at? You know what I'm saying? You live in LA? You know what I'm saying? Going over to that great city that has a great population and destroying all the men. God will take the strength out of the hands of his enemies. So you can have any gun you have, you can have any bomb you have, you can have any new technology or invention of war, and it will not help you. It will not help you. If he can send someone, a small group that have no power, over to you, and you're supposed to be a big man, a strong man, a man that knows combat, and he used that little man to destroy you. So God uses a small group a people, family, small group of people. Me personally, in my life, I know if I'm not flying right, if I'm not keeping my nose clean, family, if I'm not making sure that I'm washed up, my hands is clean, my feet is clean, family. And when I say those things, the way that I'm living my life, if I'm not being clean, God can use a person that is a midget to beat me up and down the street, family. Do you hear me? Beat me up and down the street, family. And no disrespect to littler people, but I'm just using this as an example. No disrespect. You know, I love the Most High Yah, and if you love him, I love you. And even if you don't love him, I'm still praying that you open up your heart so you can love him. So no disrespect to anyone out there. I'm just using these simple examples. And I know personally in my life that if I'm not flying right, family, if I'm not keeping my nose clean and my hands clean, family, that he can use someone that has little of stature, that is not powerful to me, to take me down, family. This is how he destroys peoples, groups, nations, countries, kingdoms. Okay, let's move forward. So he will use a small group that have no power. Okay, next. He will harden the heart to go into war that they can't win. So God will make you remember, he does this to individuals. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's a country, that doesn't matter. They have no power. Once more again, God is mad at every single country in this world. There is not a group of people that God is not mad at. He's just mad at black people matter because they are his chosen. We are his chosen people. That's why he's more madder at us. I tell my brothers and sisters again, you can see those other nations transgress his laws and they don't get wrath. They still gonna get wrath. They still gonna get judgment, but not as severe as you, my brothers, not as severe as you, my sisters. And they used to call you Negroes. You know what I'm saying? They used to call you niggas. Now you call yourself African Americans. I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to y'all, my people. Your punishment is worse. They can go out there and do all of that stuff, family. They can, family. They can go out there and do all of that stuff. And he's not going to slap them 7 ways to Shabbat. He's not going to do that, family. He probably slapped them probably like 2 or 3 times and hope they get it. But he going to slap you in a 365-degree circle to where you going to understand where he coming from the covenant that your people have with the Most High God. Okay, let's move forward. So God will make the leaders of a country go into a war that they can't win. Family, as you look at America and all the wars that she has went over and fought, has she won anything? Anything, family? Oh, brother. Oh, what about North Korea? What about Afghanistan? What about Iraq? Did it look like we did anything? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, family, be honest with yourself. Be honest with where you live at and the things that you see. Have you seen your country beat anybody, family? Anybody, family? When they went over in Africa and was helping the Africans, did they win then? Well, you know, we fought in World War I and we fought in World War II. Family, those countries are still in power. Did they win, family? Did they win, family? Any wars in your lifetime that our country has went into, have they won, family? Once more again, let's go back into what God will do to a nation, a group, a kingdom, a group of people, a whole army. God will make their leaders go into a war that they cannot win. Family, look at your country and look at how much money it spends pouring into all these wars that they go fight in all these countries, and there is no resolution. Is there? I can't even say the petroleum dollar. Has it grown any bit? Is it $1.50 now? Last time I checked, they were still saying that it was 77 cents. So let's go back, family. Out of all the wars that you have seen in your lifetime, have America won? I'll let you be the judge of that. Let's go forward. God will make the leaders of the people drunk in decision making. Now, look at your president, family. And you know, family, I pray for the president just like I pray for this country, family. If you think I'm lying, ask any of the prophets, and they're going to tell you that in the land of your captivity, you're still going to have to be better than the people that's victimizing you and suppressing you, your oppressor. Yes, family. Black people are victimized in this country, family. Everybody should know that by now, family. You know what I'm saying? Victimized. You are already the victim, even if you did the crime or you didn't do the crime. Victimized, family. And they sit there talk about, well, you know, your group of people, they shouldn't be trying to act like they are a victim. Are you serious? Did my people just not go through 400 years of being enslaved in this country? Did they not go through Jim Crow? Did they not go through all of the things that happened to them in this country, being slaughtered on the hand of white people in this country? Have they not went through all of that? Are they not still victimized now? Scared to get pulled over by the police, you know what I'm saying? Scared to go to the damn store. Just want some peace, family. And then when they blow up, all I can say to my brothers and sisters out there in the world is please try to keep your peace, family. But we all know there's a time for everything. And I can't say that people out in the street getting beat up because they don't know how to act right and they want to revolve around racism and hatred. I can't say that they'll have a good outcome after that. I can't say that my people don't have the right to defend themselves. My people have the right to defend themselves against any assailant. And especially being in a country to where they have been terrorized for so long. If anybody have the right, I said this like maybe 4 years ago, if anybody has the right to be racist in this country, it's black people, and we are not. For we are the children of the Most High Yah, and we love. Look at how your people love everybody else, and they don't get no love back. Why is that for? But once more again, my people have to understand that it is your job to be a priest and to teach the nations. Not only are you supposed to teach your fellow so-called African Americans about the true God of Israel, we are supposed to be leading the nations of teaching the Gentiles. Everybody that's around us that do not know the Lord is considered a heathen or a Gentile to me, family. I mean, it's our job, family, to teach them so we can be completely blessed. If we can turn all this hatred that we have for one another, that it was programmed into your people. I'm not going to say that it wasn't, but just because something is programmed doesn't mean that it has to be accepted. Does not. We have to tear down all these walls of hatred that been festering in the so-called black community. As you see, your oppressor will not do so. And all the wounds and scars and stabs, it'll just completely keep on opening up those same wounds. It is up to us to mend the wounds that is in the so-called black community, the house of Israel, because I'm going to call you for what you is, the house of Jacob. It is your job to mend your own people, to have love and compassion and patience and tolerance for your own people before you can have it for other people. But you see how the programming is in your people. That's another preaching of another sermon for another day. Let's get back into this. Now, God will make the leaders of the people drunk in decision making. Family, I told you about your Donald Trump. He up over here worrying about pouring all this money into an army that ain't nobody gonna get at like that. He up over here have all these projects of tearing down stuff in this country and building up stuff that means nothing, that's not gonna do anything. That's just wasting the taxpayers' dollar to completely have you broke again. So this is another operation of his methods. Now, if you can get the leader to be drunken and be foolish, that's gonna turn the people against the leader. That's what we call civil unrest, family. And with civil unrest comes revolution. That's what it comes, family. Either if it not be revolution, it'll be the people, and they'll act the same way that the leader is acting. And as you look at your country, These white people in this country is acting the same way like your leader is acting. I'm just saying, people can sit here and tell me that, oh, you're being racist, you're being hate-filled. Then by you saying that, you're saying that you're not trying to get right and God is wrong. There again, people who want to serve the creature and not the creator. That's what it seems like to me. They want to say that God is wrong for his judgment. I'm not here to judge God. I am but a mere mortal made of flesh and bones, that this body will return into the dust in which it came. But this soul has a home, either damnation or either bliss. So for people to say that I'm racist is to say that they're better than God and they know more than God and they feel that they are God because they do not want to submit to a higher rule or higher power. Me, your brother, Jehoshaphat, Israel, I submit to the Most High Yah, anything that he has required of me, for I am but a man. I didn't place this earth here. I didn't hang the stars in the skies. I didn't make the elements that people need to exist. I didn't. I wasn't one of your foolish brothers that will sit there and go out into the wilderness and cut down a tree and make an image of a God that can't see and can't hear and will not be able to answer my prayers. I see God for who he is. Not all the way, because a man can only understand God to a certain degree, but to the point of obedience and to submission. I know him who lives forever and knows all things. Blessed be his will in Yeshua HaMashiach name, for he alone is worthy and there is none beside him. For all glory is designated for him alone, for he is worthy. Throw your hands in the air, for you know you are blessed by the Most High Yah himself. Now, I only got a little bit more, family. Okay, causing to people to live lives. Family, look at your last president, family. I'm just saying, family, he did things in this country to make the people drunken. Why you talking about Obama? Why you talking about Obama? I'd rather have Obama for president than Kanye. I'll tell you that. You ain't supposed to disrespect the Lord, family. You ain't supposed to be disrespecting the Lord, family. Now, family, look at your last president, family, and he calls people to do things that have them living lies, family. What do you mean, Jehoshaphat? What do you mean? Did he not make it legal for the gay community to get married and disrespect God? That's what marriage is, family. To honor a man and a woman, to honor themselves before God. A woman and a woman cannot honor themselves before God. I don't have to tell you I'm sorry, because I'm not, family. It is what it is. Two men together cannot honor themselves before God. That is living a lie, family, to cause the people to be drunken, to make foolish decisions and live in a lie. Is that not your current president? Is that not your past president? Is that not your president previous to that? Family, I'll let you be the judge of all of these things, for I want you to open up your heart and open up your mind before destruction glooms over you. Okay, let's move forward. He will make his enemies hide in fear. Now, no one in this country right now would have I can't say not everybody. Excuse me, saints. Excuse me, my brothers and sisters. But there are people in this country that will think that God is not powerful enough to make America hide. Can you imagine that, family? He will make an individual. He will make a group of people. He will make a country. He will make a whole nation hide before his very face. And people that don't have faith in this country would believe that America would not hide. Would believe that, family. Would not believe. Well, Jehoshaphat, where America go, brother? I don't know. But I do know America would hide, family. It would hide from all nations, family. It would, family. You wouldn't hear about America internationally on anything, family. Nothing, family. Ships and stocks and bonds and CDs and etc. Shipping and goods, merchandise. It said, family, that her destruction came in an hour, and all the other countries, all the seagoing, all the shippers and the, what is the name of it? The people who sell goods would lament at the fact at her burning heap of a sight of her rubble of her burning, family. Will be lamented because they can't do any more barters and trades and dealing with America again. Cried, family. So I'm only here to give a message. Now, some people would believe that God is not strong enough to make America hide, family, before his very face. What could that mean to you? It could mean so much, family. It could be a physical action, family. It could be, oh, well, you can't find America's army nowhere. America is not out policing anything. We don't hear about no new American inventions. We don't hear about the Americans at all. But God is so powerful that he can make his enemies go into hiding. And if you just seen 10 years go by and all you heard about is all the great things in this country, let me ask you, is America hiding? Is America hiding? He is so powerful, family. There is no limit to his powers that he could make this whole country go into hiding. And if you think I'm lying, if you think I'm playing, keep up in your dastardly deeds and let's see what he do. Okay, moving forward. God uses the sword, he uses famine, he uses disease to kill individuals, groups of people, cities, states, countries, kingdoms, individuals. It doesn't really matter, family. He either used disease to kill off the population of that city or that country or that state or those people or a person or just a group of people. He'll have them get sick. He'll have them live a terrible life until they die, family. You heard what happened to the king. God told him, for him turning his back on God, one of the great kings of Israel, he turned his back on God, and God had him live miserably the last 2 years of his life until the intestines came forth out of his stomach, family. I'm going to ask you, brothers and sisters, right now, what could God do to you so bad to where you live in pain and misery for the last 2 years of your life? Then God makes your intestines come out of your body, family. Don't that sound like some type of explosion or something? God kills people with disease, family. He kills countries with disease, plagues. You see all of these. You see right now the world is a pandemic going around. He kills people with disease. But brother, just like I know that 50 years from now they gonna say that was genetically modified to kill people. But it's still God's plan, family. It's still God's plan, family. He allowed it, family. God speaks things into existence that are not, family. You know what I'm saying? That's how he works, family. That's how he rolls, family. He will speak something into existence that will take time to happen, and then it'll manifest itself into our reality and then do something to us, family. He uses famine to kill people. Since the pandemic, I'm just happy, family. Let me speak briefly to my brothers and my sisters out there in the world. I'm happy of the pandemic because that has slowed down the shooters. The white people in this country that was shooting people, they can't shoot your kids at school no more. Your kids are at home and they're getting trained on the computer. We don't have to worry about. A lot of people forget, family. They forget what was going on in this country. If you rewind back 9 months to 10 months ago, there were a lot of white people shooting people in this country. Look what happened at the Miller factory, family. The beer factory, family. Look at all them people, them 2 white terrorists that went in there killing all them people like that. Look at the white terrorists in this country. They go into the schools and shoot up all the kids at the schools. All the white terrorists. Remember what happened in Vegas, family? Remember all those things that were happening. You see this pandemic slowed all that stuff down, family? I like it, family. I do, family. I ain't seen no mass shootings in some months now, family. We needed a break, family. It's just bad. It's just bad that you got to take one death for another death, the lesser of 2 evils, family. It's sad, family. It is, family. It really is. And then I would take the crazy Karens, but then again, it's still death involved because when the police come and they look at a black person, they just shoot, family. You know what I'm saying? It's still death involved. It still is with the crazy Karens. But I would take the crazy Karens, crazy Susans, crazy Aprils over the mass shooters that we had in this country not even 7 months ago before the pandemic. So all your brother can say is that the lesser of two evils, trading the evil for evil. Was that evil better than this evil? I'm just glad that we took a break on it. People forget how this country was before all of this stuff was happening. Before all these protests and all of this stuff was happening. This is why. This is why it led up to all of this stuff, family. It is, family. Okay, let's keep on moving forward. He will use the sword, family. He will use the sword on his enemies. And we use swords now. We use knives and we use cutleries, family. But the most things that people use is gun. He will use guns to kill his enemies, family. He will, family. Will go let them go out there in the war, family, and all of them get shot, family. And you know, your father, he's diabolic. He'll use one bullet. You know what I'm saying? God, he don't be playing with his enemies, family. He really doesn't, family. You've seen what happened to Cain. What you mean? Cain killed Abel. Okay, God, this is right. Cain got scared and he told God, well, you know, I'm going to be a vagabond. Somebody is going to try to kill me. Somebody is going to. So God put the mark on him and made him a vagabond throughout the earth. But later on in his life, Cain lived in a stone house and all them rocks fell on Cain and he died, family. Irony. God loves to use iron. You can use that as any metaphor as you want to, but God loves to use irony against his enemies. Any of them, family. What did your brother say? The things that they should be worrying about, they're not worrying about. Those are the things that they need to be worrying about. Irony, family. Okay, let's move forward. He will make his enemies hide in fear. Okay, yeah, we did that. Now, in Sodom and Gomorrah, he sent down fire from the heavens. See, a lot of people wouldn't think that God would do that, family. They would not think that. And we can go all the way to the book of Revelation, how he talks about making 1/3 of the earth's water uninhabitable for men to drink, and men drunk and they died. Just because that he would sit there and after Solomon did a great prayer, he will send down fire to consume the altar. When Elijah was calling out the priest of Baal, and he would send down a great fire to consume the sacrifice. Just because he would do those things back then, don't mean he won't do those things to this day, family. It doesn't mean that, family. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with hellfire and brimstone. He did that. Just because he did that, and you know, some of my brothers, they'd be like, well, you know, we got bombs, Jehoshaphat. We got bombs, Jehoshaphat. You ain't heard America be blowing stuff up. Okay, family, that could be it, family. That could be it, family. But however, a lot of people will not believe that God will. When the Egyptians seen that fire mingled with blood, that is a sight that they never seen before. They never seen fire mingled with blood falling on a man's head and killing him. All of those things he do, God can make fire mingle with blood fall on the heads of people in this country. Just because he did it so long ago does not mean that he changes who he is now. When God says, I am who I am, when God comes to you in your own personal life and he says, I am who I am, what does that mean to you? He's simply telling you that I am God and I'm not going to change for you or anyone else. I actually mean that, family. When God comes to you and he tells you, well, you know, Shamika, you know, Tyrene, you know, Jesse, you know, Billy, I am who I am. What does that mean to you? When God tells you that should tell you that he God and he ain't going to change for nobody in this world. He's not going to change for the new policies. He's not going to change because these people have learned something different than the other people didn't know. He's not going to change because these people know more than the other people know. He's not going to do that, family. He is who he is and he's not going to change. He is God. There is no one besides him. Okay, let's keep on moving forward. So a lot of people would never believe that God will send down fire from the heavens to consume a nation. You could throw in bombs, brother. You could throw in tomahawk missiles and IMC missile. You can throw in all of that stuff, family. But the point doesn't change. Just because it's 2020 doesn't mean that he won't send fire out of the heavens to consume people. You seen what he did to the men. The men came up to Elijah. They was like, Elijah, the king wants you. Okay, then Elijah said, you said that I'm a man of God. If I'm a man of God, let fire come down out the heavens and consume these 50 men. Elijah did that almost 2 times, family. The last time the captain came to come get Elijah and bring him back to the king, and he pleaded for his life, for he knew he was a man of God. Irony, family. Irony, family. God loves that. Now, God will make a place polluted to where no man can live there. Can you imagine that, family? He can, family. If he so wanted, family, he can turn Texas so polluted with whatever he uses, family. You know, he's the omni-being God that knows all things. There's no level to how smart God is, family. That's why people, to me, they look stupid, because they sitting there messing with a being that's smarter than they could ever fathom or ever could be. They sitting there playing with him, family. And my brothers and sisters, we have made a pledge in our life at this time in our age to take God serious in our lives. And they would sit there and play with him and play him for a game and act like he can't do them. Blood gets soaked in the land of whatever nations, the abominations of the evil, of the sin that's found in the people, that is displayed through their actions, is soaked into the land along with the blood, family, that is in the land. That God will expel a people out of the land through their sin, family. Through their sin, just by the people. Let's go back to my hometown. If everybody in Fresno, California was a sinner, God would expose all them. He would expel all them people out that city. He will make it so desolate, so polluted, to where man cannot fester. Either it be radiation, contamination, contaminating the water, contaminating the air. He does these things when he get tired of the people, family. When he get tired of the people, people will not understand that God can turn the whole United States into the desert. He can, family. He can turn this whole place no different than Iceland. And it'd be so much uninhabitable for a man to where he can't live there, family. It'll be a home for the owls and the birds and the ostriches and the gazelles and the zebras. Only animals can live there. Man cannot tread his foot there. And if America keep on playing with God, keep on disrespecting him, he might make this land so polluted to where no American citizen can live there, either from the west to the east to the south to the north. Nowhere here in this great country that God has made so beautiful for people to inhabit. This is how he uses his weapons of war on people, on groups, on individuals, on nations, on countries. Let's keep moving forward. Okay, that was the last one. No, was that? God will make a place polluted to where no man can live there. Yah uses families of the leader to kill them. So a lot of people wouldn't imagine that, okay, Trump is your president. People wouldn't imagine that God will use Trump kid or somebody that's in his family to kill him, to assassinate him, to murder him. They wouldn't believe that, family. This is what he does to a leader of a country that has been blasphemous against him. Cause the people to stumble in the darkness in their own drunken vomit. Cause the people to stumble, family. Cause the people to sin. He will have somebody in that leader's family kill them, family. Murder them, assassinate them. That's how he does, family. Now, if God will do that to a king, what will he do to a person in their own house? What will God do to a group of people? What will God do to a nation? What will God do to a army? Same thing, family. He would, family. He would make a person in that person's family assassinate them, family. Murder them. Okay, now that's the last one before we get into our pre-recorded, and I will be stopping it at 3:30 to shift over to the last pre-recorded. To all my brothers and sisters, you know I aim to please the Most High Yah. That's why I sit here and I'm ridiculed by man, for so many different people will listen to this show and they will criticize and judge, but they will not heed the warning of all the things that I told them. So I don't know, family. I don't want to say justify their own self, but it looks for. And if they justify their own self, that's the same as condemning their own self if they're not willing to listen, family. All the racist stuff well, I can't even call it racism. All the hatred that this country has for your people. The one thing about white America I don't understand, they sit here and they teach little black children, little boys and girls, that they better believe in evolution, and they don't even believe in evolution, because if evolution was something that really existed, then that means white people would have had changed who they were a long time ago. If evolution was real, that means that white people hatred is the only thing that is setting them back from being able to evolve. So it's like you live in a country with a bunch of hypocrites, family, that live their life hypocritical, and those same things that they so justify themselves in will be their own destruction, family. It will, family. It will, family. God is all about irony on his enemies as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this, but I will be stopping it. And then I have one more. And come meet your brother in spirit. And nothing has changed here in the house that God has made. We're still on studies. We'll get back into it. I just had to take a small second to do what the Most High Yah asked me to do, far as in what he wants me to reveal. I guess it was in secret to some people, the things that are happening to them in their country, in their face. Things that they see that God does to people, terrorize the people all over the face of this earth for not wanting to submit to him. Okay, since it was kept in darkness, I guess I revealed it. But you know how I feel, family. I'm just doing what is called of me, even though I will be ridiculed, mocked, and looked at as a fool. But all glory be given unto God, for I'll be his fool before I'll be any man's fool. Oh, I gotta go back, family. My bad. Blessings be appointed to all my brothers and sisters out there. Shalom, Israel. It is your brother Jehoshaphat Israel here in the house that God has made. Now, here in the sanctuary for this evening, I've been charged with just going over what God does. And, you know, I can't, from what your father told me, I'm not supposed to go into his word and pull forth all of every single thing. He doesn't want me to do that. He wants me to roughly, and you know, I do this to the glory of God because he told me to do so. So I'm an obedient child, and I'm going to do whatever he is asking of me. So today in the house that God has made, all glory be given unto Yah. Shouts out to all the 9 o'clock prayer warriors, prayer healers, prayer saints. Come meet us at 9 o'clock in the spirit at 9 o'clock for 9 o'clock prayer hours. But here in the sanctuary for this day, I'm supposed to talk to America about what God, the Most High Yah, Jehovah, will do to his enemies. Now, I don't know if the people of America see this, but the greatness of America is under attack. And God is allowing so. God does not want this country to be so great anymore of what it thinks in his head of what it is. We can go back into Egypt, and God still allowed Egypt, you know, when the Pharaoh sent his whole army to death and destruction to die, and the splitting of the Red Sea, his whole army was annihilated. It was wiped out. But God never let Egypt regain its former greatness. That's where America is right now. You know what I'm saying? You see all these different people in America, make America great again. We got to stand for our nation. We got to pass these laws. We got to put these people in order. God doesn't want America to be great anymore. That's why American people are fighting so hard to get back what they used to have. No different than Egypt. No different. When Pharaoh, when he was drunken in this power, consumed with all of his anger and his hatred for my people, so-called black people, the house of Israel, he sent his army into death and destruction and was wiped out. God never let Egypt gain that greatness that she had before to be known all throughout the lands of a great nation, far as in from their riches to their culture, to the things that they're able to do. America is in the same boat. You see all these different people in America, make America great again, make America great again. If America doesn't change, first of all, America will never be as great as what she thought she was. That's not going to come back. That's never going to come back. Forget that. But I'm here today to tell America that America doesn't even really believe in God. It really doesn't, family. If America believed in God, she would follow all the things that God has put as far as her laws, her statutes, her commandments. And every vile thing that God does to a nation is befolden here in this country. Let's go over some of them. God will take a people that have no name and raise them up to destroy his enemies. Now, you might say to yourself, you might say, well, what nation of people can God actually raise up? America has been saying to all of its people for at least a decade now that the American dollar is failing. It's money. God is attacking America's finances as well. And then in comparisons to Asia, you see Asia booming. You see they stock market. You see all of what they're able to do as a country as being able to boost up their manufacturing, their products, their shipping, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're making money. While on the other hand, America is taking a dive. God will take a people that have no name, that have no power, that have no anything, and build them up to be great, to take over another race of people, another country, another nationhood. And as you look at Asia, and you look at where they come from being under rule of Great Britain, being set back, being forced in their own country to apply to British and European rule. Now you see them on a climax of being greater and more powerful and military advanced and money. So we know God will take a group of people. That's happening, family. That's happening all over the world, family. This is happening as I speak. This is how God eliminates his enemies. But God, he always warns a person before their destruction. Either it be a group of people, either it be a nation, either it be a person. Before destruction come to that person, whoever it be, whatever group it is, God, he is a loving God. His mercy endures forever, and he has a heart, and he has forgiveness on him. He warns that group of people. God chose me because America would never believe me, family. God chose me because I don't have billions of dollars and my speech is not so excellent to where I got some PhD degree behind it. Simple, family. He used the simple to confine the wise and the smart and the rich, family. It's no different than the straw that broke the camel's back. That's why he able to use me. Is he hoping that people here in America listen to me and really do what he wants them to do? I don't think so, family. I just think he's just warning them. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, of what I think. I was charged with this, so I'm doing it, family. Okay, we know that he'll take a group of people and turn and make them from a group of people that have nothing to giving them all the spoils of war and technology and all the innovations of knowing how to conquer. We know that God uses his great elements of nature to destroy groups of people and countries. If you don't believe me, go back to the 1920s in San Francisco, because that would be like modern day Sodom and Gomorrah to the Father. Every vile, inexplicable thing that you would want to do that goes against the word of God is going on in that place. It has been. God damn near destroyed San Francisco with all of the earthquakes and the wildfires and the floods. It took San Francisco over 50 years to get back to where she is now. God attacks cities, countries, villages, small cities, big cities. It really doesn't matter, family. It really doesn't matter. God uses his elements to wipe a people off the face of this earth. Now, as you look at America and you look at all of her floods, all of her earthquakes, all of her tsunamis, all of her flash floods, all of her burnings, and you see the wrath of God on America. This is how he destroys things, family. So as I look at America, I don't understand, why doesn't she see all these things befalling her? Now, God will take, let me change my pickup. Okay, we talked about God taking a group of people that have no power and empowering them. God will take your enemy and turn it on its own self. He will. As you look here in the United States of America and you look back in 1861 when the Civil War was being fought, God took an enemy, our enemy, the house of Israel, so-called black people that live here in America, and the land of their captivity, still in bondage. God showed you that he will take your enemy and turn them on their own. This is how God fights people in wars, family. Now, he said in this book, in the great word, that he will take your enemy and your enemy will fight amongst itself and kill themselves. Did that not happen here in America in the Civil War? So my question to America is, what is he going to do now? You know what I'm saying? God will take an enemy and turn on itself. The only thing that I can see that's coming forth with the things that he will do, the firstborn. Does America have to go through the first? You seen what happened in Egypt when God slayed all the firstborn. Will America turn over to God after he does that to them? I don't know, family. I'm just here to warn them all over again for all these methods that he uses to destroy a group of people or take them out of power. He's already fighting, taking away America's greatness. That's why they elected Trump, so they can get their greatness back. That'll never come back again. That's not ever happening again. You know what I'm saying? Look at Egypt. Was Egypt ever able to regain its power in the ancient world with the power that it had? It never got a chance to recover again. As you look at San Francisco, it took San Francisco 50 to 70 years to build back from what God destroyed. Here in this country, you've seen white people fighting against white people for the house of Israel. That's what you've seen, family. You've seen an injustice being done to the so-called black people here in America, and God used white people to kill other white people to free. I can't even really say to free, to bring some peace. That's all I can say, because it's still the same here for so-called African Americans. Now, God used the angel of death and killed the firstborn in the Egyptian cities. God, look at what happened to Gideon. Gideon's enemies turned on themselves and killed their own selves, family. Same thing here. Okay, I know that happened 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, but God doesn't change, family. God, American people, I speak to you out of love. I don't hate anybody for it. That would forsake my right of me being a child of God. We walk in peace and understanding and love, and we try to have tolerance when we can. Now, just because God uses his machinery of war, that's what I'm going to call it, family, machinery of war to destroy people. Egypt never gained this power. go back to the city of who Gideon was fighting against. God used the own enemy that he was fighting against to turn toward themselves and kill themselves, family. That's the same thing that happened here in America. What is next? The only thing that I can see is, the only thing from what I know with the word of God is the angel of death. Now, let's go more forward. Let's go to King Hezekiah. God sent the angel of death to destroy a whole army of people. I'll tell you right in this instant in time that God is upset and angry at every man that would pick up a war. Any army that's in this world, God is very upset with, because men shouldn't take up arms to kill other people. Okay, that's off top. People should let people live and let people live and be free. That's off the top. God is mad at every nation and every army of every nation. There's not a group of people that live on the face of this earth that God is not angry with. The only reason why so-called black people get the bad end of God's stick because they have a direct covenant with the Most High God. There's no other group of people on the face of this earth that have a direct covenant with the Most High God. And he said in his word that he would make sure that he beat you down, black man. He said that he will make sure that he will make your life a living hell for you not serving him and your people, my people, so-called black people. The house of Israel is in the house of bondage, just like he said he would do to us when we go against him. But my people still don't understand why they live in the land of their captivity, still under bondage. Now back to what we have, a direct covenant. That's why you see the hand of wrath of God on us, trying to awaken us. The only thing that I can be happy for is God has got black people to the point to where they're being conscious of their own selves, their situations, their family, and their people. The next stage for God is for him to have everyone be awakened to his truth of who the true children of Israel is now. It took God a long time to get black people conscious of who they are and to care and to love one another. He's still working on that, on us. But it's going to come a point to a time to where every black person here in America will know they come from the house of Israel and understand the direct covenant they have with the Most High God, in which why they get the hard end of God's judgment over his people. There's not a group of people that have to suffer that or have to go through that. That is what our ancestors made in agreement, the covenant that we signed of what we would do for our God. Black people don't understand that. Black people don't understand that because times and seasons and dates and names and places were changed. So how can they come into their original self when everything is changed? And then the devil took it upon himself to make sure that black people in this country would not receive all the blessings. They smart, family. They took against crafty counsel against your people to turn you not into a nation of people. Crafty. God, the devil, made black people through, and we can't blame everything on him, but he made it more alluring for black people to kill one another. We're not going to go back into the days of Malcolm X, and you know Malcolm said that his people in the 60s loved to stab each other and shoot each other. That's a fact, family. One of the greatest things that the devil did, and some people would like to sit here and say that, oh, the greatest thing that the devil did was not let people to fool mankind to know that he exists. No, the greatest thing that the devil did was to fool the house of Israel to turn their backs on one another. By doing so, you only get half of the blessing that was put on your forefathers. Half, family. You only get half of it because black people are against each other. They don't receive the full blessing. It's a shame. We could be blessed even so more. Now, back to America. What is next for you? Does God have to take your whole army and destroy it before your face, before you see how great a God he is? Look how God has let America grow in prosperity to become the greatest nation, in which she has been professing for the last 100 years that she's the greatest nation. For God to topple this country will make all other nations see how powerful he is. All America can do at this standpoint of herself is to humble herself before the Most High Yah, Jehovah, and turn from her wicked ways and treat the children of Israel in which what they need to be treated as fairly. Am I saying that we need to be praised as a group of people? No, we need to be looked at as God's holy chosen priesthood of people. That makes us above any other people with our direct covenant with God. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So if you want to praise a certain group of people, all praise is for God. But if you want to lift up a group of people, his chosen people is where you should start. Is why you are taking so much damage in your country. It's because of who you seem to oppress in this country, who you seem to deny the freedoms of rights of a person. Can't nobody give anybody freedom. That's off top. People are born free, but to deny a group of people their freedom and oppress them. That's what God is so angry at when it comes to America. Back in the 50s, God gave America a chance to share her wealth with America, with so-called African American people. It never wanted to do that, and it destroyed all the progress. We don't have to go into Tulsa, Oklahoma. We don't have to go into Rosewood. We don't have to go into any of them. We don't have to go into Black Wall Street. We don't have to say any of those things. For everybody knows this to be common history of what happened, what took place in this country. Now, as far as in America, the only thing that I can see happening is the angel of death. And what happened in the angel of death? The army was destroyed, completely destroyed. Just because God operates and he makes his movements and he does the things that he does 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 years ago does not mean it changes because we're new modern people born in a new era. His operations of war are still the same. His hand of wrath is still the same. It's just a damn shame that people don't see his movements. People don't understand, even though he made it plain for people to understand what he will do to them, how he destroys people, how he influences people, how he gives and he takes away. People still don't understand. And for America to pride herself to be a Christian nation and go against every law, every statute, every commandment, every limitation, every single judgment has brought this judgment on her very self. Now, I'll end this video, but this was a warning to America to show you. I proved it to you. God uses the same people that are against his children to turn on their very head. The only thing that I can see now happening is for a lot of people to wake up tomorrow and, well, I can't even say for them to wake up tomorrow, but for a lot of people in this country not to be here. Will God have to destroy your sons and your daughters, your aunties and your uncles for you, America, to realize that he's not playing a game with you? Will he have to take away every single thing that he has allowed you to accumulate? Does he have to take your strength? Does he have to hit you with his rod for America to repent on what she does to so-called black people, the house of Israel? Does he have to do all of these things for America to wake up and understand America is under attack by the Most High God right now? And you might say to yourself, well, you know, Jehoshaphat, we got a pandemic, brother, and you know, things is looking bad, and you know, our economy is suffering, and you know, unemployment is all the way up, and you know that all the states is closed, and you know, people losing their minds. All of these things are happening for a reason. Does he have to take a group of people that have no name to destroy? Can you imagine if God took Canada and made them more stronger than America, then Canada took America over? That could happen, family. A lot of people don't believe in God and have faith and know how he operates with his devices of war to be able to understand him, even though he lays all these things out simple and plain for people to concept. America greatness is under attack. She can never be great like that again. 50 years from now will not go back, and America will be able to get her legs back and be able to stand up to be that world power that she was. This is the judgment of God's hand and wrath that has fallen on America. Does he have to take America's whole army and trot them out to be destroyed? No different than he did the Egyptian army. Just because that happened so long ago does not mean it can't happen. A lot of people in this country cannot imagine the American army, either it be the Navy SEALs, either it be the Coast Guard, either it be the Army, either it be the Air Force, to be destroyed before its face. Does he have to take all these different people sit here in this country and they talk about, oh, civil war, oh, civil unrest, and it's going to be a civil war. God will make sure that it's another civil war in this country. He'll make sure if that's what he wants. You've seen it happen in the 1800s when white people were killing each other for the wrong that they were doing to the black woman and the black man. That's things that he done for thousands of years throughout the whole earth, family. For every four corners of this earth, he uses these same methods of operation to destroy his enemy. And you have seen it with your own. It's in your history books, family. It's in if you go to your history books and you look at the Civil War, you'll see white people killing each other. Over what? So-called African American people, the house of Israel, to make an injustice right again. The only thing that I can see that will happen is the sword of death. You remember in Egypt when the angel of death passed over, killing all the firstborn. In Hezekiah day, Hezekiah was up against the Syrian army, looking no different than the American army surrounding him. And God killed each and every last one of those fighting men of valor. That can happen to America overnight. The Most High God has set me before to give another warning to this country. Remember, I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm not the strongest man in the world. I'm not the richest man in the world. But he uses those of lesser stature and power and influence to bring his messages to people for their judgment. Now, America can listen to this and turn a blind eye. It can go in one ear and right out the other, or she can take fasten to what is being said on the house that God has made. I'm not the only one giving America the message that God has put. He told me personally, Lennis, I want you to tell America how I destroys armies, how I destroyed nations, how I destroyed groups of people or individual people at that. No one, no nation on this earth is above God's hand of reproach of his judgment. No one, not Russia, not Asia, not America, not Africa, not South America. No one is above the wrath of God. And as you look at this country, you see the methods of operation of his war to destroy. Now, America has been given a chance. It has been given a warning to flee from her wicked ways and to turn to the true God of the heavens and the earth. But will she do so? What else is another thing that God will use against a group of people? God will make a group of people go completely crazy, family. And you look at what happened to Nebuchadnezzar, the great king of Babylon, and his power and his influence and how much power that he had as a king, and God still made him go crazy, family. So as I look at this country, all I can do is warn when God tell me something to tell to America. It's a lot of different Americans that will laugh at this notion. They'll laugh, you don't know what you're talking about, until it happens. Now, America has been warned. I'm going to leave this with a pre-recorded show. And family, we'll be back on preaching and ministering and sermoning to your spirit with the truth. I just had to do what I had to do for today for the Most High God, for him to get his message out to these people that's in this country. Will they take it serious? Will they understand? Will they heed? Will they know that their destruction is looming over their face? And it's something that they can't cast away. It's something that they can't lock in a box for the next 50 years. These issues of these problems of what your country has been doing, it has to be addressed now while there's still time to ask for forgiveness and be able to change from the wickedness that it has been doing the black people in this country. So all I can say to my family and to my brothers and sisters out there, I did my part of what was required from me. Now I'll leave with a pre-recorded message that I was supposed to do last week. But this message in itself, your father has been telling me for 2 days to tell America what he's going to do. Off the top, America can never be as great as she was because her greatness is under attack. You have seen some of the operations of methods that God uses to destroy a group of people or confine them or take away from their riches. And then as you look in your history books, you see that he's operating here in America, and he has been trying to get America to change her bloodshed of what she does to so-called black people, the house of Israel, the true children of what the Bible speaks of. So I'll leave it as that, family. What is next for this country? The only thing that I can see is two things, family. For God to make the people of this country sick with disease and die. God to use the same people in this country to utterly destroy themselves, or God to use his powers of his signs and wonders and miracles to make people lose their mind. It's all up to America what she's going to do. But what America was, she can never have again. Now I'll leave with this pre-recorded message that I did like 2 weeks ago, but I want the people of this country to think about what the things that I have put forth here today. God doesn't change. He doesn't change who he is. He doesn't change what he does. He doesn't change what he does to people. I can go to the book of Isaiah and go to chapter 26, verse 3, and just read from the Bible of everything that he will do to a country. But he doesn't want me to do that. He just want me to tell you roughly off your head. I think personally it's for you not to take him serious. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just a person. Oh, well, he don't know what he talking about until it happens. So I will leave with this pre-recorded message that I did a while back, and I would like you to listen to it. This has been your brother Jehoshaphat Israel here in the house that God has made. Oh, Kanye being president, you know I can't take a man serious. That would disrespect the Lord. You know I can't take him serious. I can't, family. Vote for Kanye West for president, please. Come on now, family. You're not going to disrespect my Lord and think that I'm going to back you. I remember when I seen the footage of Kanye coming into the church riding on the back of a horse saying, Hosanna, the Lord is coming. So much to say. So much to say. But I could not vote for this man at all after he would disrespect. You cannot take Jesus' place, Kanye. You will never be as good as the Lord. You will never be able to help his people unless you are willing to surrender and quit taking him for a joke. Just by you taking him for a joke, he's going to whoop you for that. You probably be free. He's going to whoop you for that. I hope you know that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to whoop you down. I can't even take a man serious that would disrespect my Lord, my Master, and my Savior, Yeshua. You call him Jesus Christ, the Son of the ever-living God. I couldn't even take this man serious stepping out there like that. Now, I just want you to listen to this video, and I want you to think. Okay, last video, family. Let me find it real fast. And make sure you come visit us at 9 o'clock in the spirit, at 9 o'clock prayer hour, to magnify, to glorify, to edify the Most High God, and to bring forth all of your problems, to gain strength, to pray on the behalf of so many different people that's lost, that's trapped, that is caught in this world and need your prayers to break the bondage of the oppression, of the chains, of the agony that they live in under, the conditions for your blessings to be cast on them and their lives. Come to the 9 o'clock prayer hour. Bring your heart, bring your obedience, bring your meek spirit, and put all of who you are on the line at this 9 o'clock. Peace and blessings to all my brothers and sisters out there in the world. Last video, and I'm be out for the night or the morning. They fail to realize the power of how powerful he really. Now, family, I hate to waste your time with this video. It's late at night. And you know, your brother Jehoshaphat Israel, I stand corrected. You know what I'm saying? I stand corrected. I said on my other show, I said I wouldn't feel sorry for white people. But if people fail to realize the power of God, they fail to realize the power of how powerful he really is and what he actually can do to a man or a woman that lives upon the earth. And in battle, some people would never imagine that God will turn an enemy on his own self. So you have the line drawn in the sand. You have warriors on this side and warriors on that side, two different campaigns, and they're about to go into battle. But God turned that one group that's for itself. Let's say it's the Raiders against the San Francisco 49ers. God will turn the Raiders on their own self and kill their own self. Some people would never imagine that God could be this powerful, or he do things like this to people out in the world. Groups of people, warriors, armies, divisions. It doesn't matter to him, for he is God, and we are just mere mortals upon this earth. Now, I stand corrected, family, because I said in one of my preaching that, you know what the Father told me? He said that it will come a point in my life to where I will feel sorry for white people as a whole group of people. And for me to even think about something like that would be hard, knowing of being a so-called African American born here in America and how America is towards black people. So it'd be hard. But if I woke up tomorrow, Father, family, and all of the white people went crazy, family. I mean, they just went crazy and they start killing themselves, or they were so mentally challenged to where they couldn't even tie their shoes. You know what I'm saying? They out in the I'm driving on the highway and I'm just seeing white people getting hit by cars. You know what I'm saying? I might feel sorry for them, family. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking up at the top of the buildings, and I'm just seeing naked white people because they so stupid they couldn't even get their clothes put on, you know what I'm saying, for themselves, you know what I'm saying? He can make a person go crazy, you know what I'm saying? He can make a person turn at their own selves and kill their own people. Some people would deny the power of the Most High Yah. Some people don't understand his tactics of war and his instruments of wrath. They'd never in a million years understand how powerful and his ways of war towards one of his enemies, which is mankind. People will never understand his power. But in this day, at this hour, at this time, I stand corrected, family. You know, I throw my hands in the fire all the time, family. I have no problem with that. If I woke up tomorrow and I seen all of these white people that were so mentally challenged, the whole race of white people, they just turned mentally challenged. What is the mental disease and disorders that people have? God can do that to anybody at any given time, family. It's a reason why he says that he strikes men down dead. As scary as that might sound to a true believer, to strike a man down dead with pestilence, family, with the sword, family, with famine, family, with disease, family. So if I woke up tomorrow and I seen all of these white people that would be worse than the children, that they couldn't even take care of themselves, meaning they need a handler, family. They need, you know what I'm saying? All these white people come up to me and some people will say, oh, you're being racist. Oh, this is racist, whatever. You could think whatever you want to think. I believe in the power of the Almighty God. I believe in the scriptures. I believe in every single thing that's in the history of the context of, if you look in your Bible, of every single thing that my family, my people have been through in this country. And people could deny the fact that the Holy Bible is black people history all they want. I will not deny his word and what he has said that he'll do to any of my enemies. He has promised us to make our enemies bow before us, to bow and take a knee. Don't you see the police bowing and taking a knee now, family? Don't you see it, family? So if I woke up in the morning, family, and white people as a whole race of group, family, I went all over the towns of wherever I was at, and I seen they people, and they quit all their jobs, they couldn't perform, you know what I'm saying? They were mentally challenged as a people. You know what I'm saying? God can cripple anybody he wants. He can cripple a person. He can cripple an animal. You know what I'm saying? He can cripple a state. He can cripple the damn moon if he wanted to. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? Please forgive me. But he can cripple anybody he wants. He can make anybody go crazy. And if I woke up tomorrow and this is what I seen in the world, white people that have already lost their mind to where and such to where they need a handler. They need somebody to actually take care of them more worse than if they was a baby. And to know how people is, I would feel sorry for them, family. That's the only how I could feel sorry for them, family. But is this possible? I'll let you be the judge of that.
I pose one more question before I leave the house that God has made for today. And if this was so, black family, and tomorrow, black men, there was nobody else in the country to run the country itself, far as in the subways, the trains, every single facet of America life, black people would have to fill those shoes and still at the same time take care of white people. That's the only how, family, only how. Could you imagine tomorrow if black people woke up and they had to run this whole country, from the internet to the television to the railroads to the ships to the military to the president itself? That would be the only thing, family, that would make me, and I still had to go out and get another job to make sure that the world runs and still take care of white people. That's the only how that I could feel sorry for them, family. If not, I would never feel sorry for every single thing that they have done to my people in this country, so-called African Americans.